Welcome to 1970s New York City, where Coventry, the legendary live music venue, originally the Popcorn Pub, became a stepping stone for younger generation bands like the New York Dolls and Kiss, pioneering the transition from rock and roll to glitter, punk, and beyond. I'm your host, Jef Cantor, and this is Echoes of Coventry.
New York City, call my name.
Hello, and welcome to Echoes of Coventry. On this special episode, we'll meet Mina Sub, the wife of Coventry founder Paul Sub. Mina will share how she hid and later fled Europe during the Holocaust, ultimately settling in New York City. But first, we'll hear from Paul Sub, who's also a survivor, about his escape from Vienna to America, where the young entrepreneur would open several businesses, incorporating his love of music into these ventures. So let's get started. So, Paul, I know that you have an amazing family history, both you and your wife do. Tell me a little bit about how you both came to the United States.
When I was 6 years old in Vienna, before the Nazis actually came into Vienna, we had a nice, beautiful life. My father had a cafe, and he had also two bands that he was playing music. So at that age, I already started getting into the music ideas. When I was 8 years old, we had to leave Vienna. But with the experiences of when I was 7 years old, the Nazis came into the cafe and asked me, I was 7 years old, asked me, who should I take outside? I didn't know what it was all about. I thought they were going to take her away. My mother volunteered. So I thought they were going to take her away. But luckily, they only asked us to take on what's happening now, the anti-Semitism. They had some signs and all that stuff outside. So they made her clean it up, which that was a minor thing, but it was a shock when I was a little kid. So after that, we were hiding. So, one day into the cafe, the Nazis came in, the actual stormtroopers came in and grabbed my father and dragged him away. And what happened was, he was put on a truck, and my mother grabbed me, running after the truck, screaming, like my father out. Luckily, one of the cafe customers that we had was the driver of the truck. So he threw my father out of the truck. Wow. Luckily, he was a friend. So from there on, we were just trying to get out of the country. Came to the United States, and after that, we opened up a little store in 2nd Avenue. That lasted quite a while. And then one of my friends came over, and he said, why don't we open up a little cafe or restaurant? So we opened up the restaurant, the Crooked Fence it was called, 1st Avenue. There we had comedians and some musicians playing, and that lasted 10 years. So then music kept coming a little bit at a time, and after that we went down to the village. Down in the village we had all folk music. So that was interesting. We also had an interesting crowd, the Hells Angels and all the police, and everybody was there enjoying themselves. After 10 years, the lease was up, and we decided to come to Queens. And that's where we started with the Coventry.
Even when you make it rain, I'm just a New York guy. You gave me wings to fly back to New York City.
Now, shifting our focus to another central figure within the Sub family, we're honored to introduce Mina Sub, the matriarch who not only survived the Holocaust, but also thrived in America, shaping a new life with courage and resilience. Mina's journey from Europe to New York is a tale of survival and strength. Mina is joining us over Zoom today. Welcome, Mina. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about your life before you immigrated to America? I know that you were born in Germany, but then you moved to Italy.
Yeah, but my father. Now, my father was a seller of material, and in the summertime he wanted to take us all for vacation, I guess. But he knew that going and coming was difficult, so he decided to leave whatever we had in Germany and tell everybody we are going on vacation. But we went with nothing. We just went with what the little thing that we had, and we went to Milano.
Okay.
And from there on, all the other things happened. But
Yeah.
we never went back to Germany after that.
One of the most amazing parts of your life is the things that happened to you before you came to America. You had a lot of people that helped you through the war.
Well, my family and I were in Italy, and my sisters and an underground person had a contact with a convent in Italy. And in that convent was a very, very generous woman that was part of the underground, but nobody knew about it. She was just a woman that lived in the convent, but she was the underground as well. And she was like our protector. And my uncle that lived outside Italy, he wrote a letter to this woman and said, I don't know if my wife and I will survive the concentration camp, but if we do survive, we would like very much that you are not pushing them to become another religion. We are Jewish people, and it's very important to us to stay that way, no matter what happens. And as it turned out, this woman really promised my father, and he kept the promise. But we have to go to church because people that went to church there didn't know that we were Jews hiding out. So we went to church in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. But naturally, we were not converted. But we knew all the prayers in Latin because we had to pray with the people in the church. And the nun really was like our second mother. She took care of us. She helped us keep up our studies. She didn't want us to lose time. And we lived in the convent for a while. And then we couldn't stay there any longer because the Germans invaded that city in Italy. And once they invaded, we were interned by a special place where Jewish people were staying there and were working for the Germans, for the Italians, because Italy became a partner to the Germans. And for a while we were able to stay there. But once the Germans completely invaded Sicily, we had to leave. And the man who was in charge of the camp was very kind and opened up all the doors of the camp and wanted us to leave so that we could hide and save ourselves. And that's when our lives started wandering from one place to another, and always finding good people to help us.
Didn't you end up having to go through the mountains and argue to get into Switzerland?
So at night, two men came that were from the underground and walked us over the mountains to the Swiss border. And when we got there, the people in Switzerland that didn't want us, they didn't want to open up the borders and take us in, even so they knew that the Germans were just standing outside and wanting to catch us. And my sister, that was the oldest, I think she must have been maybe 12 years old at that time, begged the man that was in charge of that little camp that to let us stay there until the Germans would go away, and then we will try to find another way. And the man did not allow it. He said, no, absolutely not. We are not allowing it. You have to go away, and we don't want to have you here. And my sister just didn't stop talking. And she said, we are not moving. We are staying here because there's no other way for us. If we leave here, we are just going to go in the hands of the Germans, and that is not possible for us to do. And after 2 or 3 hours, the man finally decided, okay, I'll take you down into town where our captain is, and I will tell him the story, and hopefully he will let you stay. And as it turned out, that what happened, he went down to the little town, he talked to the captain, and she explained to them, and the captain accepted the explanation, and he came to pick us up, and we went down into town, and we stayed in that camp for a while. And my mother and father were in Switzerland at the time because they were hiding there. And they begged to come and see us. They haven't seen us for 2 years. But once we got to the camp, the captain of the camp would not allow them to see us or get us near to see us because they were kind of worried about the Germans. So my mother and father had to go back to their camp. And we stayed, I think we stayed a few months. That was the beginning and the middle of our wandering. And we were so little, we didn't quite understand what was going on. But we were very good. We didn't cry. We didn't ask questions. We did what they told us to do. And I guess it must have been the ingredient of surviving. And how we got saved there, I don't really know, because it was a very difficult journey. Little girls with no shoes, no proper clothes, cold. And it was a young man. They could have done anything they wanted with us. And we were always lucky. People were always very, very kind and they just liked us. I don't know why. There's other nice children, I'm sure, but we just had to survive, I imagine. And when the war was over, we were able to see our mother and father, and we stayed in Switzerland for a little bit. And from there, then the war was over. But my sister wrote a book. Uh-huh. She wrote a book about us. My sister was very courageous also, my little sister. And she wrote this book, and there's a lot of nice stuff in here. If you want to read it, and you want to get more, and if you see the 4 cute little girls.
Mm-hmm. Which one are you?
Mine, this is me.
Okay.
And this is my older sister.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the middle one, and this is the one who wrote the book.
Wonderful.
This is still she died, unfortunately, and the 3 of us are still alive.
Okay. Then you came to the United States from Switzerland?
From Switzerland, we had to go back to Germany because we had to get our passports and everything, because the Americans wouldn't let us enter. They had to see if we were healthy, if we were able to stay there. And my uncle was in the United States, and he helped the people try to get our papers together, and he told them that he will be watching over us, that we will not be a weight on the United States.
And where did you move to when you first came to the United States?
To the United States, Washington Heights.
Oh, okay, here in New York, okay.
Yeah, my uncle lived there, and she took us in for a little while, and then we had other relatives. They offered to help us, and the Jewish community was helpful. My father was selling something, and he went from store to store, and my mother went to a home where she was cooking for little children, and we were able to go to school, and we learned English. And once we went to school, we also met people who wanted to get married. I don't know why everybody wanted to get married, I can tell you. And at the end, yeah, I got married, my sister got married, and that's how our life started.
And so how did you meet your husband? How did you meet Paul?
I met him through another friend that lived in that building, and we went out together. And as a matter of fact, my husband wanted to get married right away. And I looked at my father, at my husband, and said, "Are you out of your mind? I came here with my parents, and I haven't seen them for so long. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here."
That's amazing. So how long did you make him wait before you said yes?
I think at least At least 2 years.
2 years, all right.
Because he wasn't religious, really. My father was religious. So he really wasn't too happy with the young man that I picked. And he was trying to talk me out of it. And somehow it just happened anyway.
Sure. So when you and Paul did open businesses together, what was the first business that you opened?
There was a little store that we were selling, I think we were selling menswear.
Okay.
And I was cleaning the windows. And my mother was doing other things. We each did something in order to keep the business going. And we made a living. We were never a burden on anybody.
And what was that neighborhood like? Was this on the Upper East Side?
Forgot the name of the neighborhood. It was a Jewish neighborhood. It was very nice. As a matter of fact, we met a couple that we knew, and they also got saved through different people, and it was nice to have somebody that you knew and they know your story and what they went through and all that. And at first I didn't like it at all. I was crying for many, many nights. I felt uncomfortable. I don't know exactly what the story was. I know I was crying a lot. And then we got used to it, and we became part of the citizenship of the United States.
Mm-hmm. And how long after you got married did you start having children?
Pretty soon. I only had one child. What did I have? Yeah, I had Charlie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were the firstborn, right? You were our firstborn.
I'm probably your kid.
What?
Probably your kid.
Yeah, Charlie. We had Charlie, and then we had Seymour 6 years later.
Okay.
Because I was working, I had to work, and I worked very happily. I liked to work, and my father kept working, and my mother we all worked. We were not on any social dependence.
Right.
That was our pride.
Now, I know that Paul also opened a sandwich shop called Subs or something like that.
Oh yeah, the Subs, in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And did you work there too?
No, I didn't work there because I had my 2 children already, and I was very, very busy trying to see that they were doing the right thing, doing their homework. I was kind of strict about these things, so I rather did with less, but I wanted to be sure that my children had a good education.
Well, I've been told that you kind of kept everything running, that you were the one that was really the hardest worker of them all.
I did work, and I like to work, and I like to be with my children. It worked. It worked for us.
Sure.
It doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for us.
So when your husband just came home and told you that he had bought the Popcorn Pub and was going to start a music venue, what did you think about that?
Well, then I thought it was crazy. It was totally out of our idea of living in the United States. It took me a while to get used to it.
Yeah.
And also he was away a lot, But I got used to it.
Sure.
You get used to other things. And that's how we made a living, and ended up more or less making a living that way.
Sure.
As you know, Charlie, is practical musician.
Mm-hmm.
He does many things, just like his father used to do. Seymour, he was different. He's more of a, not a businessman, I think, more intellectual. He was more into books and into going to school and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is much more like his dad. He's the businessman in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to keep things together.
Sure. You were making sure everything was still good at home. Now, did you ever work at Popcorn Pub or Coventry, or did that just, Paul did that and you stayed at home and ran the home?
No, I didn't work not in that kind of store. We had also a little bit of a clothing shop.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little we sold wine and stuff like that.
Right, like a liquor
A liquor store.
Right.
Yeah, so I learned that, and I used to put in some hours there while the kids were in school. And I like that. It worked out for me.
So tell me about the story where Paul got chained to the radiator or to the stairwell or whatever. What happened?
That is the story of the wine and this.
Right.
Because, those stores are open late at night. So when he used to come home late, I guess 2 or 3 people were waiting for him in the building downstairs, and they caught him and they tied him down. And when he called my name, I went out and said, "What is it? It's so late. It's almost morning. What am I doing out here?" So then I realized Paul was tied at the inside the building because these people caught him and took away with all the money that he had or whatever he made that day.
Yeah.
And then the police came and tried to find him. Naturally, they never found the people, but they saved Paul.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do or what to say because they even had a hole made in the wall so that they could pass through to get into the business and try to clear it all up. And they pretty much were successful at it. But we were also successful because nothing happened. He was able to save himself, and after a while it became a story. A sad story, but it became a story.
So with everything that's been going on lately about Coventry and all of the, the award that Coventry just got for the historical significance and the musical and the podcast and all that, what do you think about all this, about this part of your life becoming such a big story right now?
Well, I must say I'm not really part of this story any longer because I was really concentrating more on my grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And that was my passion, and is my passion. And whatever they did, I accepted. And I'm really very surprised very often how it all went, and they have done very well. And I'm very proud of them. But I'm also very proud of being a grandma and a great-grandma.
Sure. I know that you're a big part of the story. I know that you're a big part of the Sub family, and the story of how you survived the war and how you made it to America and how you kept your family running and together. And I've talked to Sid, who said that you were the one who was the glue of the family. You kept everything going.
I think it's a little exaggerated, but if they feel that way, I'm very proud.
I think you're modest.
I don't know about that, but I was lucky. We were lucky in many ways. Our survival was lucky. So many people didn't have the chances that we had, and how it happened, I really don't know. It came down from heaven. It was really something very, very special and very. I don't know how to say it. Why did we survive and not other people? And sometimes I, asked my rabbi, I said, how did this happen? What happened to us? So he answered me, don't ask questions, just go on and do your life. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
We're glad you are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your story, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Love you, man. That's great. Did a great job.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Echoes of Coventry. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Bliss Street NYC on Facebook and Instagram, and at The Sound Dogs on Facebook and Instagram to keep up with the latest episodes and behind-the-scenes content. Stay tuned for more tales from New York's homegrown rock and roll scene, and I'll catch you around the neighborhood.